You know, every single day, powerful AI is making decisions that shape our lives. We're talking about whether you get a loan, what medical diagnosis you might get, or even just the news that pops up in your feed. But here's the thing. This incredible power often works in the shadows, inside what a lot of people call a black box. So that begs the question, who's making sure it's all playing fair?
So to get to the bottom of this, we're diving into a really fascinating source. Our guide for this explainer is the Professional Handbook, Auditing Artificial Intelligence by Albert J. Marcella. This is going to give us the inside scoop, a real expert framework to understand how this whole critical field actually works.
All right, let's kick things off with our first section, AI's unseen power and problems. Because let's be real, we're living through an AI revolution. But with all this incredible power comes some pretty significant risk, especially when the tech is evolving way faster than our ability to keep it in check.
I mean, just look at this timeline. The speed of change is just wild. We went from Alan Turing's theoretical ideas in the 50s to an AI literally driving a rover on Mars in 2022. And then, bam! Just 1 year later, ChatGPT put super advanced AI in the hands of millions. That curve is going straight up, which, you guessed it, leads to a really important question.
So here we are. It's powerful. It's everywhere. But with AI operating inside this mysterious black box, who's actually checking its homework? Who is making sure it's safe and fair for all of us? Well, this very problem is so big that an entirely new profession has popped up to solve it.
So let's meet the people stepping up to the plate. You can think of them as the secret cops of the AI world. This section is all about the AI auditor's mission. Their whole reason for being is to bring some serious accountability to algorithms.
So what is AI auditing? Well, the name kind of gives it away, right? It's a formal review of an AI system. The best way to think about it is like a financial audit. But instead of checking the numbers, auditors are checking the code, the data, and the decisions to make sure the system is fair, transparent, accountable, and secure. It's all about building trust in the tech that we rely on more and more every day.
Okay, so what's on their checklist? What are they actually looking for? Well, it boils down to these 4 key goals for a trustworthy AI. First up, model validation. Basically, does the AI even work correctly out in the real world? Second, transparency and explainability. Can we understand how it's reaching its conclusions? Then there's fairness. Is it treating everyone the same without any built-in discrimination? And finally, a huge one, human oversight. Is there a big red button? Can a person step in if things go haywire? Any AI that's truly trustworthy has to tick every single one of these boxes.
All right, now let's zoom in on what might be the single biggest part of their job. Let's talk about hunting for bias and unfairness, because it's a simple and kind of scary truth. If you train an AI on biased data from our world, you're going to get a biased AI. It's not simple.
And you know, bias is a really sneaky thing. It's not just one problem. It can creep in from all over the place. For example, an AI can pick up historical bias just by learning from old data that reflects our own past prejudices. Or it could suffer from measurement bias if the data was just collected or measured poorly from the start. Then you have algorithmic bias, where the math of the model itself creates a problem. And even evaluation bias, which can happen if the way we test the AI is unfair. Auditors really have to be detectives, hunting for all of these.
You know, this quote from our source text just sums up the whole mission perfectly. It says, the goal is to create a structured framework. It's not about running one simple test. It's about a deep dive, examining the data, the development process, the transparency, and the real-world impact on people. It's a full-on investigation.
Okay, so we know what they're looking for, but how do they actually do it? How do you crack open that black box? Well, this next section is all about the specialized toolkit they use for demanding transparency and explainability.
The key concept here, the word you really gotta know, is explainability. See, it's not good enough for an AI to just spit out the right answer. We need to know why it gave that answer. Explainability is the bridge between a machine's complex calculation and our human understanding. And it's absolutely crucial if we're ever going to trust these systems.
First up in the toolkit, model cards. The easiest way to think about these is like a detailed spec sheet for an AI. A model card tells you everything: the model's performance metrics, its known limitations, and exactly what kind of data it was trained on. It's really the first big step towards transparency.
And to make all that info even easier to digest, auditors use something I think is brilliant: nutrition labels. Yep, just like the ones on your food. These are simple, easy-to-read summaries of an AI's key metrics. You get an at-a-glance view of things like accuracy and bias levels, in a format anyone can get.
Okay, this next one is super cool because it's visual. We're talking about saliency maps. These things are awesome. They create a kind of heat map over an input, like an image, to show you exactly what parts the AI was focusing on to make its decision. So if an AI says, "That's a cat," the saliency map will literally light up the ears, the whiskers, the parts that screamed cat to the algorithm.
And finally, we've got a powerful technique with well, it's a bit of a mouthful. It's called LIME, which stands for Local Interpretable Model Agnostic Explanations. Yeah, I know. But the idea behind it is actually pretty simple. It helps explain one single prediction by showing how the super complex model behaved for that one specific case. It's like getting a detailed, itemized receipt for one purchase, showing you exactly how they got to the final price.
So when you put all of this together, the big goals, the bias hunting, this whole toolkit, it all points toward one ultimate objective. It's all about building trustworthy, responsible AI.
And this is what responsible AI really means. These are the core pillars. It demands accountability, so we know who's responsible when things go wrong. It requires fairness and equity to protect people from discrimination. It's built on a foundation of transparency. It always needs human oversight, and crucially, it must have an ethical alignment with our shared societal values. This is the gold standard, and AI auditing is how we get there.
All of which leaves us with a final thought, right? As AI gets woven deeper and deeper into the fabric of our world, the work of these auditors becomes more critical than ever. So the real question for all of us is this: are we asking the right questions? Are we demanding the accountability we need to keep this incredibly powerful technology in check?
Hey, if you found this explainer helpful and learned something new, hitting that like and subscribe button is a massive help. It really allows us to keep making more of these for you. Thanks so much for watching.